Well, greetings and salutations, imagination connoisseurs. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show in the universe, coming to you right here on the John Campea YouTube channel. I am not your host, Robert Meyer Burnett. I am filling in for John Campea. He's still going to be here. He's still the host of the show, but we thought I would start you off today just to get you stoked and energized to talk about him, the greatest sports movie ever made. Oh, perhaps not. But some of you saw it. John saw it with a lot of great members and supporters of the John Campea channel. He had another great meetup last night in Portland, Oregon, after one in San Francisco, and he's going to Seattle tonight, to Kent, Washington. But you don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from John. John, how you doing up there?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm in Vancouver, Oregon right now, not to be confused with Vancouver, Canada. And I'm in, once again, the mall of the parking lot of a Walmart. Walmart has been the broadcast home of the John Campea Show, inadvertently. And as Rob mentioned, we'll bring this up here. We are now tonight in the last little bit of our movie meetups. Last night, as Rob said, we were in Portland. What a great time there. We all watched a terrible movie. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But tonight, I'm going to be in Seattle at the AMC Kent Station for the 7 o'clock screening of a movie I have never seen on the big screen, which is, of course, Howl's Moving Castle. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys who are going to be there. And again, big thank you to everybody who showed up to Portland last night. We had a great time, and I can't wait to get to Seattle tonight.
My hometown, John. My hometown.
Your hometown. All right, guys, with all that down, let's get things started here, shall we? And we're going to start off with this. You know, for a movie that's still a year and a half away, there sure is a lot of stuff coming out about Avengers Doomsday. We've been getting a lot of candid shots, a lot of behind-the-scenes shots, all that kind of stuff. Now, apparently, according to Screen Rant, a person who was in the makeup crew posted this picture that we have here of, I guess it's supposed to be a general sketch look of the character. They had this sewed onto one of the bags and all characters and things that we've had announced before. But the really interesting part about this was that they said a user who was on the crew by the name of Ember on Main, I guess they've deleted it now, put up a bunch of in makeup chair pictures.
I got that too. Here you go.
You got it here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll push in a little bit on that.
Yeah, see if you can bring that up as big as you can. So we've got James Marsden as Cyclops, Robert Downey Jr. with the big scars down his face on there. We've got Ian McKellen, and as you scroll a little bit further down, we've got Shuri. And what's really neat is that, like with Shuri and Ian McKellen and James Marsden, it's all look like they're in makeup for some kind of fight scene, some kind of battle, knockdown. So I don't know, maybe we're going to see, you know, Shuri fighting the X-Men or fighting alongside of the X-Men. I don't know. But clearly some kind of rough and tumble stuff is going on. But see, Jonathan, if you could get in even closer on that Robert Downey Jr. one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You guys will remember that the other day, that picture from that merchandising expo came out.
Oh, and yeah. Look at the...
That looked like the first look at Doctor Doom, right? But it was an illustrated one. But we said every other character in that picture is their movie look. This is probably what's going to be. The most interesting thing about this Robert Downey Jr. shot is that it looks like it's absolutely accurate to that image that we saw. It does look like it's that Doctor Doom. It looks like it's that Doctor Doom outfit.
Yeah, you can see
with
those,
the little,
like...
the plates or whatever up there, the spheres there. So it kind of looks like, as we all suspected, that look that we had that peak we got to look at from the Marvel and Disney presentation at the merchandising expo. Yep, looks like that was it because it looks right there. And I thought the scars on the face look really interesting. They're in some kind of big fight. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to take a look at these images. What is jumping out to you?
Dude, I love the X-Men. And, you know, it's interesting because Ian McKellen is wearing more of what Michael Fassbender's Magneto uniform looked like than his. Yeah. And I find that really interesting. I really like that look for Magneto. I hope he's got more of the cape on him too. Although it kind of looks like and I'm really fascinated. And the fact that Cyclops is wearing that classic Jim Lee X-Men #1 kind of look that Jim Lee pioneered, when the California style took hold. I got to tell you, this all excites me. I just hope that Cyclops really gets to shine, because he got jobbed in the other X-Men movies. So I really want Cyclops to lead and to kick some major bootay. Whatever shenanigans are being pulled here. And I have to say that I know leaks happen and they pull things down and they wrap shooting, and somebody probably doesn't know. Because I will say this: the people, having done designing Hollywood now for almost 5 years, the people in the costume and makeup departments are not aware of geekdom. You think they might be, but they just don't understand the kind of hunger that we have to see any snippet of what we might be getting. So even when you see a pillow, we're all looking at it going, oh my God, that's incredible. Like, what's that white jacket Reed's wearing? Is that a new part of that's incredible.
If they put
you know what I thought? Look at the bottom right of that picture. I thought, wait a minute, is this a Megan 2.0 crossover? But apparently that's Franklin Richards.
Oh,
down in the bottom right. Apparently that's supposed to be Franklin Richards. I thought it was like a Megan doll or something.
Yeah, I guess
he
did have long hair. That's right.
Well, who's next to Reed? Yeah. Is that Bucky?
That's Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it's Bucky.
Yeah,
right?
Bucky.
These are perfect pillows to put on a director's chair. If they could have the director's chair with all the actors' names on it, that would be perfect.
Well, how about that pillow is great for kids. Like, I would sell that pillow and market it for kids who are Avengers fans or whatever.
Just to be clear, this is not a marketing whatever. Some people are asking, is that Kingpin? No, that's Professor Xavier. Right. There is no Kingpin in this picture.
Dude, but he does.
But I also thought it's interesting. I thought it was interesting that the only people on this particular sheet are ones that have already been announced. You know what I mean?
Right.
That makes me question its validity a little bit. But
sure.
I don't know. Maybe it's
but it is clearly a real
valid
pillow where somebody made it. I
don't think it's a pillow though. I think that's just a patch put on the back of a chair or something.
Well, yeah, but it's nice.
A director's
look
chair.
at all the embroidery. Nice. It's cool.
Maybe it's an Etsy thing. Maybe I'll order it off of Etsy. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about these images that we're seeing? It looks like they're going to be all battle scarred up. I think this gives us confirmation that design of Dr. Doom that we saw from the merchandising expo, it looks like it's dead accurate. What do you think about the scars on Robert Downey Jr.'s face? Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we?
Yes.
Well, last night at our Portland movie meetup, we had the unfortunate experience of watching the movie Him. Now, I never thought Him looked very good, but that's okay. You guys know my channel is filled with movies that I didn't think would looked very good, and then I ended up really loving. And I was hoping that would be the case here. And despite the fact that Jordan Peele's name is on the poster, Jordan Peele did not direct this film. Got to make sure we emphasize that every single time, because a lot of people still think he directed the film. I'm not going to bury the lead here. This movie is awful. Absolutely awful. As a matter of fact, when we walked outside to have our big group photo of the movie meetup, I asked everybody, can somebody tell me what year did Craven come out again? Because I'm trying to decide what the worst movie of the year is. And they all reminded me that it came out in 2024. I said, okay. I think Him is the worst film of the year. I think Him is the absolute worst film of the year. But now let me start with the good. Okay. And by the way, I'm going to let you know, I'm going to spoil this whole movie. This is going to be a spoiler kind of review of it because I don't care. And I really don't think any of you should go see it, but all film is subjective. You may watch it and like it. And I hope that you do. I wish I did. Let me start with the good. Here. I can't remember the first name of Wayans here. He's the youngest of the Wayans brothers. Marlon. Yeah. Fantastic. He gives a great performance in this. Like, it's every once in a while you'll get a terrible movie that had a really great performance in it that was just kind of wasted because the movie itself was terrible. This is that situation. He gave, like, his performance and his nuances with the character often leave you guessing about the intent of the character, the nature of the character, and it's all because of his performance. He's able to quickly transition from insane intensity to jovial camaraderie to, like, all these different sides of the character that leaves you kind of guessing as to where this character is going. And it's all from his performance. And I got to say, it's a really unfortunate thing that that performance was wasted in a movie like this. The good things I have to say about this movie end there. Let me tell you something. They make him kind of look like it's a horror film. It's not. It's really not.
Like, I thought the devil was in it, John. Isn't, like, satanic, and isn't there, like, cults and all that?
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Rob. It's funny you should mention that. Because while one might think that we're going to get more devil stuff or whatever, how do I put this? Okay, you remember the movie Ready or Not?
Yes.
Remember that movie, the little horror film?
Yes.
Where it's like, it gets introduced in the film that at some point you realize there's some kind of an occult thing and there's a deal with a demon sort of thing and all that kind of stuff. And then that becomes a part of the film as you move forward. I'm going to explain the entire movie to you now. This movie is about this young quarterback coming out of college, getting ready to turn pro, and everybody thinks he's the next one. Marlon Wayans plays the Tom Brady kind of character. He has 8 championships. He's considered to be the GOAT. He's the best, but rumor is he's about to retire, and they're looking at this young kid as maybe being his replacement on the team. And so Marlon Wayans, you get this from the trailers, invites his character, the young kid, out to his private compound for a week of training to see if he's really ready to be the quarterback of the new team, right? And as you can tell
Makes
from
sense.
the trailer, things get kind of intense. Okay. The entire run of this movie, I'm sitting there waiting for this movie to introduce what the movie's about. Okay, like, I get it. He's looking at him, is he the thing? But, he's kind of intense and he's done some kind of crazy things, but it's all just kind of intense and whatever. Still waiting to kind of see what this movie's, where it's going. Like, what's the general idea of it? And then in the last 2 minutes of the film, it gets revealed that you find out Marlon Wayans is, when he's at his peak, physical, feeling absolutely at his peak, he draws blood from himself and saves it. So when he needs that energy boost, he reinfuses his highly oxygenated blood back into himself. Now, throughout the movie, this doctor on site has been giving the young kid injections. Everybody knew right away, the secret injections is probably Marlon Wayans' blood. And sure enough, yeah. At the end, he injects it. You find out he's been injecting him with his own blood. Okay,
that's not how blood works.
Yeah. But then you're trying to decide why. Why is he doing that? Why am I watching this movie? Why is anything that's happening in this movie happening?
I don't know.
And you find out in the very last couple of minutes of the film. It's all exposition dumped. As you find out that the whole reason, everything that has happened in the movie, the reason this kid got invited to the compound, the reason Marlon Wayans has been putting him through all these excruciating exercises and all these excruciating drills and shooting him up with his blood and doing all this kind of stuff, in the very last waning moments of the movie, Marlon Wayans reveals, you see, there is a spirit of the GOAT, and it's been passed on for 100 years. And the way they're going to determine if I have to retire now or if you get to be the new quarterback is if we fight to the death. And I did all of this to make sure you're at your peak, because I only want to fight you if you're at your peak. And then they fight for 30 seconds and it's done. That's it. They fight for about 30 seconds and it's done. And then in the very last scene of the movie, the kid walks out of the room where he fought him into this big outdoor thing, where his manager, the owners of the team, and Marlon Wayans' wife, for some reason, are all dressed up in goat heads and a bunch of cheerleaders. That's the shot on the poster where he's covered in blood holding the footballs out like a crucifix. That's actually a shot from the last scene of the movie. And they're like, oh, yeah, sign the contract. You're going to be a new quarterback. If you don't sign the contract, I'm going to kill your parents. I'm going to kill your family. What? Where did that come from? And then he grabs a sword and he starts cutting everybody's heads off. And then on the very last shot,
I kind of want to see that part.
The very, very last shot of the movie, his manager, who has been his best friend throughout it, but you find out he's been in league with these guys all along, says, please kill me. Please kill me. You know, like, why is he asking him to kill him? But he doesn't. And he starts to walk. The young kid walks away. And as the young kid walks away, the manager's like, no. And all of a sudden his body gets pinned to the ground and slid across the ground by some invisible force onto some satanic symbol that's on the ground. And his body explodes. Like, what the fuck? None of this. It's like, with the reason I brought up the comparison.
That sounds awesome.
This sounds amazing.
The reason I brought up the comparison to Ready or Not is that it's kind of the same playbook, except Ready or Not introduces the characters. They let you figure out something's off here, kind of like what they do in Him. Something's off. But then like halfway through the film, they give the revelation to the audience. This family sacrifices people.
Yes.
Okay, and now that the character knows this, now starts the game of cat and mouse. Now starts the game of our hero fighting against the villains of the film, and that becomes the second half of the movie. This movie it's just meandering around for an hour and 20 minutes. And then in the last like 6 or 7 minutes of the movie, it's, oh, by the way, I did all this so you and I could fight to the death, and I just want you at your best. Ah, you killed me. Oh, I'm going to walk outside now. What? This is satanic. Body explodes. End credits.
You know, in Ready or Not here, in
no
Ready or Not,
sense.
Ready or Not had an earned ending that was a hoot. The very end of Ready or Not was great, and that movie was glorious. The whole movie was great. It was glorious.
I love that movie.
I did too.
It was such a pleasant surprise because it came out of nowhere, Rob. Like that movie really came out of nowhere and kind of surprised us. And you could tell that they wanted to kind of follow that blueprint, except it was just an hour and a half of nothing. And ooh, isn't he crazy? And then like in the last blink of an eye, oh, we got to fight to the death, and these guys are all demonic, and oh no, a demon's going to kill that guy. Ah, and the movie's over. And it's like, really? I literally said out loud in the theater, what the hell was that when the movie ended? I really honestly think this is the worst film of the year. I think this is worse than Smurfs. I shouldn't say that. I didn't actually watch Smurfs. So, but I'm guessing it's worse than Smurfs.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Yes, please do.
Who is the titular him? Who does him refer to? The quarterback, the devil? Who's him?
Him is the man. Like Tom Brady is, like when Tom Brady is the GOAT, he's him. And so they're saying is the kid is going to be the next him. I'm him, the next GOAT, right? It's actually a good title. Like when you understand like that basic premise, it's a good title. It really is. But I guess Tom Brady at some point, I don't know, who is a former great quarterback that isn't alive anymore? I don't know. At some point, Tom Brady had a fight to the death with some old NFL quarterback who was him, and Tom Brady became him. I don't know. It's really weird.
Is this the second movie in Robert Eggers' Black Phillip trilogy where the goat was introduced in The Witch? I mean, I've never understood why Black Phillip hasn't come back, so I'm just going to, in my own head canon, him is going to be the second Black Phillip movie.
Yes, only now GOAT means greatest of all time instead of literal GOAT. It's a really terrible movie.
Because it really, that's the whole thing, is that it really means Black Phillip. It really is just a goat. We think it's greatest of all time, but it's really bad.
Really just a goat.
The greatest trick the devil ever played was making people think GOAT meant greatest of all time.
Yeah, that's right. And Tom Brady's actually the devil. Look, again, the real unfortunate part about this was that Marlon Wayans gives a killer performance. Really, he did everything. If an actor's performance could save a movie, if an actor's performance could save a movie, and they can't, his performance would have saved the movie. And like, I have gone from, we don't see Marlon Wayans very much, to I want to see more Marlon Wayans. I want to see what else this guy can do, and put him in anything that's even remotely better than him, because him wasn't it. It just simply wasn't it. Anyway, Rob, did you get a chance to get yourself to go see him this weekend?
Yeah, Rob.
No, John. And the thing is, I really was looking forward to this. I'll watch any kind of horror-related film, but what I don't like is when movies do things that other movies have already done so much better, and they don't put, like, I was hoping this would have that sort of devil's advocate, race with the devil. You know me, I love anything to do with cults, Satan. Satan's one of my favorite villains. And if you muck it up, it really bums me out. I don't like it. I mean, my favorite horror film of all time is The Exorcist. I was kind of looking forward to this, and now you've crushed my spirit. You've harshed my mellow. I don't know what to say. Yeah,
utterly terrible film. And I'm very excited about never talking about it again. All right, guys, the question is for you. Did you have a chance to go and see him? Hey, listen, just to be fair, the movie has a 20-something% on Rotten Tomatoes, which means 20-something% of the critics liked it. And maybe you will too. That's the beautiful thing about film. It's all subjective. And just because other people like me don't like it doesn't mean you won't like it. Did you have a chance to see it? Did you enjoy it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? There's another movie coming out here soon that we have not seen yet called Black Phone 2. Now, the first Black Phone with Handsome Hawk, as I believe the villain's name is the Grabber, was great. It was a really wonderful little horror film, and he was a great villain in it. And poor Erin Cummings nearly died watching this movie.
At CinemaCon. We were at CinemaCon.
We were at CinemaCon watching it, and she just about died. Like, she was so freaked out by it. Anyway, the movie didn't do great at the box office, so I was a little bit surprised that they decided to do another one. Partially surprised because, Ethan Hawke dies at the end of the first one. But death doesn't mean anything, as they tell us in the trailer. And Black Phone 2, the reviews are now coming out. And so far, as I look at them, the reviews are pretty damn good. As of right now, it's holding a 100%. Now, don't get too excited about that 100% just yet, because there's only 9 reviews. But it's from some significant critics. Let's go over and take a look at some of the reviews for Black Phone 2, shall we? Slant Magazine is saying, throughout, Scott Derrickson, who, by the way, I love him as a director. He also directed the first Doctor Strange film, and he's a great horror director. Throughout, Scott Derrickson collapses dreams, reality, past and present, sidelong into a singular cinematic haunted space. Slash Film wrote, they liked it. Black Phone 2 avoids retreading the first movie, pivoting to an awesome Dream Warriors-esque story that turns the Grabber into an undead nightmare.
Well, that sounds
Dextero writes, yeah. Black Phone 2 is a superb sequel that maintains the creeping sense of dread established in the first movie, through a story that both extends and expands upon the horrific Grabber mythology. RogerEbert.com wrote, it's a tick too long and has a section that is far too expository for a film that's at its best when it leans into surreal nightmare logic. But this weird movie works. Its fear factor is unexpected, in creative ways. IndieWire wrote, the best thing about this movie comes from other movies, whether they be the creative team's previous efforts or iconic titles from past decades. These elements are enjoyable, which is precisely why they are recycled here. But why, though, wrote, the original film offered simplicity for young characters, and in Black Phone 2, it offers supernatural fear and accelerated stakes to match where the kids are now in their lives. Not every sequel works, but Black Phone 2 does. And it just kind of goes on. They all seem to like it. And I'm excited about that, again, because I am a big fan of the first film. I really had such a good time with it. And Ethan Hawke is like absolutely, I think, he's one of the great actors that never gets into the who are great actors conversation. He's one of them. He's absolutely fantastic. And I love being able to see him jump back and forth, because in front of this movie, Rob, where he's playing this supernatural horror villain. They also did the trailer for that one he's got coming out where he was, what's the writing duo? Hammer and Bernstein or whatever. He's got that kind of period piece romantic thing based on the real musical playwright guy.
Oh yeah.
Guys in the live chat, you guys probably know which one I'm talking. Rogers and Hammerstein. That's what it was. And I can't, if you guys remember the name of it, but to see him go from that to this is pretty much amazing. I will tell you the trailers have not thrilled me though, Rob. I'm excited to see it. I love the first one and I am going to go see this, but I'm not terribly excited about it. I don't think the trailer's been particularly good. And while I don't mind the idea, I mean, look, Nightmare on Elm Street wasn't the movie that created the idea of terrible things happening in your nightmares, right? But it felt so much like they were just making a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Like everything from, oh, when she's asleep, that's when he can get her. And when he does stuff to her in the dream, it's happening to her in the real physical world. And the only way, and it felt so on the nose of Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like, are they going to say that the grabber defeated Freddy and has become the new Nightmare Stalker? I mean, I don't know. So it feels a little bit too much on the nose for that. Again, I'm still going to go see it opening day. I'm still very excited about it. It's just that the trailers for me haven't worked. But Rob, the reviews for it sound pretty solid. What are your expectations for this movie and what's standing out to you the most from the reviews we're reading?
Well, I was there at CinemaCon, when we first saw it all together, and I really was impressed by this film. It kind of reminded me, so Scott Derrickson as a director goes and he works his way up and does Doctor Strange, big budget film, and then he comes back and he goes back to sort of his indie roots, going back to that Sinister vibe where much lower budget, but he delivers a really effective a film that had both emotion and real terror and scares in it. So that was a smart move, I think. And then going back and figuring out a way to make Black Phone 2 different. It sounds like it's very different, actually. Like this one reviewer said, it plays on familiar tropes, but in very effective ways. I think that's a great move for him. If this movie turns out to be anything like these early reviews, Perry Nemiroff also wrote a really extensive review of this film, and she really loved it. I'm excited, man. Look, I love horror as a genre, and we are living through, look, Weapons was original, Companion was original, we saw
Together.
Long Walk, Together was original. We're unfortunately, Him was too. You win some, you lose some. But with this, I love seeing this franchise continue on, and as long as it provides something, I like the idea that it, even though it might delve into nightmare territory, that it sounds like it's doing something original compared to the first movie, and they work as companions to one another, which is great. I love that. I can't wait to see this movie. I love the fact that it's in a totally different setting. There's somewhere where it's snowy and it's wintry, and I don't think people make enough.
As a Canadian, I like seeing the serial killer on ice skates, like on hockey skates. I like that. I can respect that.
Wasn't on an oil slick though, John. So he didn't pour oil down.
Oh, you had to bring that up.
Well, I'm just saying
this had to bring that up.
This is done right, correctly. And that movie is called Blue Moon. That's coming out. The Rogers and Hammerstein with Blue Moon.
And that looks really good. And again, just to see Handsome Hawk being this nightmare supernatural serial killer, and then this balding kind of schlubby musical writer it like in the same span. The guy's just so good. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The reviews coming out for Black Phone 2 are all really solid so far. It's 100% right now, but don't get too worked up about that. It's just 9. I'm sure it'll drop, but still the reviews are sounding good. Did you like the first one? It didn't make a lot of money, so maybe you didn't see it. Anyway, whatever you think about all this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, that down. Let's move on to this. Yesterday I was going through my news feed, and one of the first thing that pops up is this headline from a UK magazine. Tom Holland rushed to hospital following accident on set of Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I was like, oh no. And sure enough, there was an accident. Tom Holland was taken to the hospital. But it doesn't sound like it's too awful serious, as the folks over at Deadline tell us this. They write, Deadline can confirm that filming was suspended. He was taken to the hospital. That filming was suspended Friday as the actor was treated for what they're calling a mild concussion. And a source close to production says he will take a break out of precaution, but is expected to return to filming in a few days. Now, according to The Sun, Holland's injury happened during a stunt gone wrong. The outlet also reported that he since attended a charity event this weekend with co-star and fiancée Zendaya. Now, only The Sun has said that he went to this charity event. I saw another outlet refute that, so I don't know what the truth of that is. Like, some people are saying he was at a charity event. Some are saying he wasn't. Regardless. So Tom Holland, who we saw a bunch of images come out for Brand New Day where we see Tom Holland in the wires, like himself flopping up and down over some stuff. And then unfortunately something goes wrong. We haven't got the details on what went wrong yet, but that ended up taking him to a hospital, stopping production on the movie and giving him a concussion. All right. This is not good for a couple of reasons. One, Rob, every day, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars are being burned when they're not shooting, when the cameras aren't rolling. When they've started production and the cameras don't roll, it's costing a production of this size hundreds of thousands a day, maybe millions a day. Because they still got to pay everybody. They still have blocked off streets, like all that kind of stuff. And it disrupts the overall shooting schedule of a film as well. And not to mention it's your star. Rob, I remember Ann and I were talking about this when the pictures of Tom Holland in the wire work came up. And she kind of said, is it smart to have your star doing that when you can easily just put in a stunt person? And I said to Ann, well, I mean, yes, but this is probably clearly something that's very, very like routine, probably very, very safe. Because that's the thing. If something minor goes wrong, like if a stunt person gets a concussion, that's terrible. But the production can go on. They can keep going with shooting. Tom Holland takes a tumble and bumps his head. You've now got 500 crew members standing around doing nothing that you're paying. And I think this is going to make Disney and Marvel take a good hard look at what do we consider simple and routine stunts and how much do we actually want to have our guys doing them? Because like, regardless of how minor this injury is, the very fact that the report is saying they're going to pause production, this is going to cost them tons of money. It's going to disrupt their schedule. I'm sure they're going to be able to, Rob, we've seen this happen with other stars who get injured. They just rearrange the shooting and say, okay, we were going to shoot these people who aren't Tom Holland 4 days later. Let's just do them now and we'll move things around. But still, even that's going to be a pain in the ass. Anyway, important thing here, Rob, is it sounds like it wasn't too major. It sounds like there were no serious injuries, although I don't care how minor a concussion is. You never want to mess around with that when you're talking about brain injuries. But it sounds like maybe it was minor. That's the important thing. Everybody's okay. But yeah, I don't know that you're going to see any more pictures, Rob, of Tom Holland in wires anymore. Anyway, you saw this. What was your reaction to it?
Well, first of all, you want to make sure Tom Holland is okay. I mean, obviously. And look, I've worked on many sets, and I have to say that the stunt teams have always made safety their number one priority. I have never been on a set. I mean, this for the last 4 decades. I have been on sets for 4 decades, but because of certain things that happened in, say, the early 80s and like the Twilight Zone disaster and all that, that stunt teams and the safety on sets has been of paramount importance to everyone. You know, sometimes there are accidents that happen, like what happened on The Crow and what happened on Rust. But for the most part, I got to give it up for the stunt teams because they're usually incredibly meticulously careful. That said, accidents do happen. And they sometimes they're minor accidents. They're things that might not have been able to be avoided. And the other thing, when you're working on a film of this size, they have what are called cover sets. Mostly they have cover sets for weather. So they have contingency plans. If they can't shoot what they were planning to do, they can, as you said, they can go shoot other things. I would imagine there's always room to shoot more second unit for these stunts because the stunt team can still work. and they can probably get whatever coverage they need to get. They can run whatever, other footage they need with someone's back to us or whatever. So they're probably still in production of some kind. It just might put back principal photography a little bit, but it sounds like hopefully Tom Holland is okay, and that no one else got injured. But it's still concerning. But on these movies, I'm actually, John, frankly surprised at some of the size and scope of these gigantic tentpole properties, that we don't hear about more accidents simply because of how many moving parts there are. So it's a testament to usually how great and careful our people really are.
But, let me ask you this, Rob. I mean, obviously Tom Cruise is kind of the personification right now, the actor who wants to do his own stunts, and we know why he does. Like he just he believes it makes it all feel more real, and it draws the audience in more. And I get that. But let's say you're the studio guy here, Rob, and the money that you're spending, and you find out that, we've got our star of the film dangling from wires above the ground, and then he got injured. Are you pulling in the production team at this point and saying, how about we not, for the rest of the production, put Tom in these situations? Or are you going to say, you know what? Like you said, accidents happen, flukes happen. Let's just try to be more careful. Or are you telling them, hey, don't put Tom in any more risky situations? What are you doing at this point if you're the studio guy here?
Well, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I would say I would curtail that. I'm sure we've seen that they've been shooting for quite a while now, and at least Tom Holland's done a lot of stuff. But now with the technology that exists, there's really no reason to compromise an actor's safety. Now I know like when Tom Cruise broke his foot on, was it Fallout, when he jumped across the, or what? Maybe it was one of the, and you saw that broken. That was a total fluke. And Tom Cruise, he puts it in his deal that he gets to fly in F-16 or F-14s and now F-18s, and so you have to kind of work around that. And then when something like that happens, but yeah, you've got to protect your star under any circumstances. So I would say that Tom Holland's days on doing his own stunts on this movie are over.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Tom Holland got taken to the hospital after an accident on the set of Spider-Man Brand New Day. It sounds like he's going to be okay, which is the most important thing here, of course. But question is for you. You're head of a studio. Are you telling your production team now, hey, no more pulling Tom up in the air on wires? Or are you saying, hey, listen, it's just part of it. Accidents happen. Keep going. I don't know. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on and talk about this, shall we? Of course, the next installment of the Superman saga is coming. James Gunn and DC have already announced Man of Tomorrow, which is coming out in, 2027 is when it's coming out. I can't believe it's coming that quick. I'm super excited about it. I loved Superman. I cannot wait to see what he does here. Now, the big wax of speculation that's been melting all over the place is who's going to be the villain. And a lot of people have speculated names like Brainiac and others. Now, I brought up on my list of probable villains Brainiac, but I said I can't help but wonder if they might save Brainiac for later. Like if they might make Brainiac a bigger deal and maybe save him for a little bit later, but he's certainly one of the possibilities. Well, look, James Gunn has not come out and said the villain in Man of Tomorrow is Brainiac, but he did post this. On his Threads account, he put out this picture. It said Man of Tomorrow, 7/9/2027, and he put a picture of the script, Man of Tomorrow, with the picture of what it appears to be male anatomy head. It says written by James Gunn on there. Now, many people have looked at this picture and completely justifiably and understandably are saying, well, it's a picture of a brain. James Gunn has just confirmed that Brainiac is the villain of Superman's Man of Tomorrow. All right. I got to emphasize this. This is not a confirmation that James Gunn is making Brainiac the villain of Man of Tomorrow. It's a picture. It could be a misdirect. It could mean something else. I mean, it could be some villain that's obsessed with dissecting the human anatomy. I don't know. But let me be clear. This is not a confirmation that he's using Brainiac. Okay. It's not, I mean, it looks like it's being implied, all that kind of stuff, but it's not confirmation. There's nowhere on this thing does it say Brainiac. And that clearly himself is not Brainiac. That being said, do I think he's implying it's Brainiac? Yeah, I do. I do interpret this as him. He's implying that it's going to be Brainiac. Now, again, it's not confirmation. We can't say that with any kind of certainty. But I mean, it does kind of look like that's what he's going for. It does kind of look that, that he's trying to, he just, wanted a picture of a brain of some kind and put it up there. Now, of course, it could mean something else entirely. Absolutely, it could mean something else entirely. And we need to be open to that, because if we find out later that Mongol or something is going to be the villain of it, like, everybody's going to say, wait a minute, I thought James Gunn said it was going to be Brainiac. He never said it was going to be Brainiac, but I'm with everybody else, Rob. I'm looking at this picture and I'm saying, it pretty much feels like James Gunn is suggesting, it just told us that Brainiac's going to be the villain of the film, because you need some big important reason to get Lex Luthor to team up with Superman. And Brainiac would certainly qualify as one of those events. Anyway, Rob, you saw the script. What's jumping out to you? Who do you think, and what do you think James Gunn's message is to everybody here?
That Brainiac is in the next Superman movie. I mean, I don't think there's anything you can. He went out of his way to do that, and I think I did think it was interesting. It says right on the script cover that it's the second draft.
Second draft, I noticed.
So this movie was written. He didn't just pick up when Superman was done with his box office run and start writing this script. Like, this is something that's been going on for quite some time.
Nice binding for a second script.
Yeah, I really like that. I mean, it goes against, my rules. I always say, whenever you're going to write a script, it's 12-point Courier. Man of Tomorrow is in Courier. It's in lowercase. You can have 12-point Courier and have it bold or maybe an underline. It's a little bigger there, which I like. But no pictures. Only James Gunn. Let this be a lesson to all you screenwriters. The only way you can put a picture on the cover of your screenplay is if you're writing it for a studio and you're already getting paid to write it. Don't put a picture on your screenplay if you're not at that level yet. But I do think that this is saying that it's absolutely, who else would it be? And why would you bother doing that? I mean, the focus of this picture is the brain. So I like it. I'm excited. Bring it on. We've never seen Brainiac in a big live action movie before. Not like this.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a picture of Brainiac.
No.
And I mean, really,
or is it?
Or
like
is it?
We don't know what, how this is going to go. Which version of Brainiac is it going to be? Is it going to be more along the lines of the Superman animated series Brainiac? Is it going to be like, which iteration? Is it this Brainiac? Is Brainiac going to be of Earth? Like, was somebody trying to create literally a Man of Tomorrow and it went horribly awry and it gave us Brainiac? Like, who's the Man of Tomorrow, John? Is it
Superman? Superman is the Man of Tomorrow.
Is he?
He always has been. That's always been his moniker. The Man of Tomorrow's always been Superman's moniker.
I think he's
playing. I 100% believe Man of Tomorrow is referring to Superman.
I think it's referring to all three of them. I think that he's playing,
and that would be called Men of Tomorrow.
I know.
I know if the movie was called, let's say he usurped the title to reuse the title Man of Steel, none of us would be questioning whether or not it was Superman. If the name of the movie was Last Son of Krypton, none of us would be, because these are definitive Superman monikers. Man of Tomorrow is a definitive Superman moniker. I really don't think he's referring to anybody else, but you could be right.
Oh, I think we're going to go on a journey. I think that the Man of Tomorrow is going to be a journey. And it will settle on Superman, that he embodies what the Man of Tomorrow is. But I think all three of these characters are going to be called that at some point. Like, Lex, you're just a Man of Tomorrow. You're a Renaissance man.
Question is for you. What do you think about this? Did James Gunn indeed just kind of release to the world that Brainiac is going to be the villain in Man of Tomorrow? Or is that just a picture of anatomy and it could mean anything? I mean, I think he means one thing, but it certainly isn't clear. I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we still have some more topics that we're going to discuss here. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at PrizePicks. Guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, PrizePicks. Look, you and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right actually means you win. And with football back, there is no better time to get in on the action. You guys know I've been using PrizePicks for a while now, and it's honestly the most fun I've had engaging with the new football season already. For example, this weekend, I had Josh Allen throwing for more than 270 passing yards, and Baker Mayfield having more than 2.5 passing touchdowns, and boom, I won on both. Building your lineups on PrizePicks is fast, simple, and honestly extremely fun. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and if you're right, you win. What's even better is that PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still win even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Plus, they've even got this thing called injury reboots, so if a player goes down in the first half, it won't count against you. And PrizePicks operates in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. So download the app today and use code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. And thank you to our friends at PrizePicks for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, one of the big things in the news cycles regarding the entertainment industry and everything has been the massive decline of movie production and television production in Los Angeles, and how right at the forefront of it, and as a highlight, Marvel has now basically moved all their production out of the United States. You know, they were shooting a lot in LA, then they were shooting a lot in Atlanta, and now they're shooting all in the UK. Well, according to a new report in Forbes, we now know why. Well, we've known this anyway, but now they've put a dollar figure to it. Disney has pocketed $2.2 billion for filming in the UK. $2.2 billion over the last bunch of years. This is what Forbes had to write. They said Disney has been handed $2.2 billion by the government of the United Kingdom over the past 15 years in return for filming movies and streaming shows in the country, according to the analysis of more than 400 company filings. Disney is believed to be the biggest single beneficiary of the Audiovisual Expenditure Credit, the AVEC, in the UK, which gives studios a cash reimbursement of up to 25.5% of the money they spend there. The generous financial incentives have attracted all of the major Hollywood studios to the UK, and the country has reeled in the returns from it. Data from the British Film Institute, the BFI, shows that foreign studios contributed around 87% of the $2.2 billion, $1.6 billion pounds, spent on making films in the UK last year. It is a 7.6% increase on the sum spent in 2019 and is in stark contrast to the picture in the United States. According to the permit issuing office Film LA, the number of on-location shooting days in Los Angeles fell 35.7% from 2019 to 2024, a full third of production in 5 years, making it the second least productive year since 1995, aside from 2020, when it was at the height of the pandemic. All right. This kind of brings it all into focus. Like, obviously, when we talk about the fact that Disney and Marvel is shooting in the UK, we understand it's because of the tax incentives, right? They don't have to deal with certain union rules. They don't have to pay certain fees, and they get a really great tax incentive. And for the UK, they're happy to hand out that money because for every $1 they give out, their economy gets 3 back into it, which has kind of been the battle cry of a lot of people, a lot of the states in the US trying to get their state governments to increase tax credits, because every dollar you spend, you get multiple dollars back. But it's when you actually put a number to it, because Rob, it's one thing to say, to have it in theory, right? Oh, the UK has all these advantages. But when you start putting a dollar figure to it, like 15 million, 100 million, 210 million, $2.2 billion they got to shoot their films outside of the US. Now, I know some people get very upset, and I get it that, why are they taking the business outside of the US? Well, if your company could get $2.2 billion for making your snickerdoodles in Ireland, you would too. And I think it just kind of puts the onus back on, the local states to really increase the attractiveness of shooting content here at home. But that is a big dollar figure, Rob. Anyway, you saw this report. What's your takeaway from it?
Well, that's how business works. When it comes right down to it, Hollywood is a business like any other, and Hollywood is a global business. Like, it makes movies all over the world. I've made a movie in Bulgaria, and we were offered a choice: go to South Africa or Bulgaria, because for our dollar, we were making a low-budget movie. Our dollar is stretched much further, and part of it is because of these kinds of tax credits. Now, we have great tax credits right here in the States. For instance, Illinois has a 30% tax credit. You get 30% back on, and there are states that do. That's why, say, Dick Wolf, who makes like all the Chicago PD, Chicago MD, or Chicago Fire, they shoot those in Illinois, and they've got great studios and great production facilities in Chicago. And the reason that they've done that for so long is because for Chicago, you've got all this, like you pointed out, you have all of this money that's being spent in the local economy. And it's not just money that's paying people. You're buying from local businesses. You're buying food from the catering is coming in locally. So what you're doing is you're bolstering the entire economy of wherever it is that you're going to shoot. And that's why it's attractive to have Hollywood come in with this giant influx of cash that's not being spent over the course of years. It's being spent over the course of months. So, and in the case of Illinois, you've almost got, I think they take April off, but that's a lot of great money coming in from Chicago, and everybody's happy to do it. And the thing is, you with the UK, they don't have, there's certain union rules that are different, so it makes it very appealing. And that's why Hollywood productions are good for wherever they are that they're shooting. And unfortunately, in the state of California, we're so used to having productions here that everybody soaks us. We don't have the kind of production money. They've been trying to get more and more, but that's why productions have left this state, because we don't have those production incentives. They're trying to put them back, but we don't, because we're too jaded and the business was here for too long. That's why we've had so much production go elsewhere, to Canada, to the UK, to Chicago, to Georgia, to Louisiana. It's just the way of the world.
Yeah, and again, I get it. I mean, you're everybody. Here's the thing. I saw one of our viewers in the live chat saying, if you're going to make it with American talent, you got to keep it. You got to keep production here in America. But we're all hypocrites. Anybody who says that, we're all hypocrites, because you say that, but when you go and you look at jeans, this jean's cheaper, I'm going to buy that because it's cheaper. Well, that one wasn't made in the US. It doesn't matter. We buy it. We buy this car. Well, it wasn't made. That's okay, because as the consumer, it's not your job to do it's your job to make the best financial decisions for you. And for companies, if you're getting incentives like $2.2 billion, you would be fiscally irresponsible. You could be sued by your shareholders if you don't take advantage of stuff like that. And again, I don't think the onus is on the studios to keep shooting here if it's not a favorable environment. I think the onus is on the individual states to make it attractive for them to want to stay here. Make it compelling for them to want to stay here. Make it make sense for a studio to go, where should we shoot this next feature? Oh, well, Louisiana is offering this, and they've got the infrastructure, and they've got everything we need, and it's going to be financially lucrative for us to do it. Let's do that. Make it so they want to stay, and hopefully that'll be something they can fix. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, now we're putting dollar figures to it, at least from Forbes, that like Disney alone for shooting in the UK over the last bunch of years has been credited up to $2.2 billion. billion for making some productions there. What does the US have to do to start competing with stuff like that? Anyway, whatever you guys feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? The next Star Wars movie coming out in theaters, it'll be 7 years since we had a Star Wars movie by the time we get our next one. And that one is just a glorified episode of a television show. The Mandalorian and Grogu, ladies and gentlemen, is coming in a absolutely confounding decision. Star Wars and Lucasfilm and Disney decided to make the first Star Wars film on the big screen in 6 years a episode of a television show, Mandalorian. Now listen, I really like The Mandalorian. I didn't like season 3. Season 3 was bad. But overall, I really love Mandalorian. And hey, it's John Favreau. I will always give him the benefit of the doubt because he's John frickin' Favreau. But I've had some doubts about it. And today, they dropped a trailer for it, for Mandalorian and Grogu. And as they are saying here in The Hollywood Reporter, they pose the question, the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer reactions are full of fans slamming Disney over Kimmel. So that's something they just can't get away from. But the point is that the trailer itself, Rob, my fear coming into Mandalorian and Grogu is that it is going to look like and feel like just another episode of a show that only people who watch the show are going to go watch in theaters. And like, okay, well, let's wait and see a trailer. First teasers come out. Rob, it looks and feels just like an episode. I feel like this is a next week on The Mandalorian. That's what it felt like. The one exception to it that felt kind of cinematic to me was the AT-ATs. That kind of felt kind of movie scale. That felt kind of cinematic, those shots. That shot there. Which is a
recreation of a shot from The Empire Strikes Back. You know, that low angle shot.
To a degree. Yeah, that low angle shot, which is an awe-inspiring shot.
It was still a weird, it was a strange beat though, as we kind of just watched it slowly fall over.
And that was like supposedly their twister shot.
Yeah, that was like the big shot. It was a strange beat to hold, but
yeah. Again, so I kudos to that, but nothing else about this felt like it was a movie that was coming. Nothing about this felt like a Star Wars cinematic event. It felt like a glorified episode of the TV show. Now, it's just the first trailer. I want to make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself here. It is just the first trailer. I've seen many movies where I didn't like a first trailer and then, I really enjoyed the later on trailers. And maybe that will happen here. And maybe this will be the greatest Star Wars movie of all time. I don't think it will, but I can hope that it will. And there is a chance that it will, because again, it's John Favreau. And I really like the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian. But again, Rob, I still think it was a mistake for them to make Star Wars returning to the big screen after 6-7 years an episode of a TV show, because it feels like a TV show. It has the tone of a TV show. It has the visual look of a TV show. And I'd be lying if I said I was really excited about it at all. If it wasn't for John Favreau being behind this, I would probably have no interest in it at all. But it is John Favreau, and that's keeping me around. So I don't know, Rob, maybe I'm being too negative. I don't mean to be, but you see the trailer for this. How did it hit you as somebody who's looking forward to Star Wars being back on the big screen again?
I have to tell you, this was kind of a crushing disappointment, because here's the thing. You need to tell me that the story that you're telling belongs on the big screen. Whatever that story is. You don't know what that story is. All I saw in this trailer were beats of things that were familiar from the TV show. You know, I'm supposed to be excited about Grogu moving a plate across so he can eat some food.
So yes,
and Sigourney Weaver stops it from coming across the table. I'm like, you need to give me a setup. I know it's a teaser trailer, but this teaser trailer was kind of what they showed. There's a little more footage back at Star Wars Celebration. What?
Yeah,
and I'm watching this and I'm thinking, what is the story here? You're showing me all this iconography I've seen before. There was nothing in this trailer that I hadn't seen before. And it looked like it was shot against the volume. It didn't have any scope again. And I wanted to see a movie that looked cinematic, that actually had a reason for me to tune in. You need to tell me a story that I haven't seen before. And I was watching this going, where is the story? First of all, I thought it was a poorly made trailer. I thought the trailer was not very well cut. I thought from a production standpoint, it just technically yes. it was not a great trailer.
I told you it felt like kind of like an editor's student. I made the same pitfalls where in your head you understand what you're doing.
Right.
But then you have to learn as an editor, your audience doesn't.
I mean, and when you're going to do a trailer like this, you kind of got to do that bait and switch where show us characters that we don't know. Give me something I haven't seen. A character setting up a situation. I'm like, who are these people? Cut to, boom! Grogu and the Mandalorian come bashing through the door like, oh, that's what this is. Mm-hmm. And give me like, I don't know what this is. Show me this.
Like the arena scene or whatever.
Give me, and then, you cut to this. I understand that we've all seen the hut that's fighting in the pits that Jeremy Allen White's playing or whatever. So start with that. We've never seen a fight with huts. Why don't you show us that scene and start with that? Lead with something we haven't seen before. I just looked at this and it was yawn-inducing.
Yeah, now, like, you and I have this discussion a lot. I don't need a first trailer to reveal anything about the story. Like a first trailer is just supposed to be like a little fragrance, if you will, to kind of give you a little bit of a sense of what's this going to feel like a little bit, right? Because the first trailers are normally just,
but that's usually for a movie.
You a sense of tone.
But that's a movie you haven't seen before. This is something we've seen 3 seasons of on TV. So
but you're still going to market it like a movie. Like to me, the disappointment, and I'm disappointed too, but my disappointment doesn't come from the fact that they didn't give us a story. That's fine. I wasn't expecting any sort of understanding of what the story was going to be from the first trailer. I will expect that in the second and third trailers, but like just the tone and the feel of it feels cheap. It feels, to your point, Rob, it feels small and it feels like a TV show. And it does not feel to me like a cinematic event. Rob, just the news and that one photo of Starfighter feels far more Star Wars cinematic to me than this entire trailer. And again, I'm going to be there first day, and I'm not going to count out Jon Favreau. And
no.
I am hoping that we're going to go in and love this thing, but I'm just saying what they're offering right now is not getting me excited right now. Like,
no.
And Jonathan, you saw the trailer. What did you like? What was your impression of it aside from the editing student bit?
No, but from a technical side, I agree with Rob where I didn't like the beats. I didn't like the flow of the what they were trying, because even though it's a teaser, every trailer has to tell a story, and I don't know what that story was other than just glimpses of scenes.
I mean, the teaser itself has to tell a story,
right,
whether it's telling you the story of the movie or not. Yeah.
But aside from that, I actually depart a little bit, because at first I had the same initial feeling. This just looks like the TV show, maybe a little worse in some cases, in other cases a little bit bumped up. But then I thought, you know what? But that's what they're telling us. That's what they're selling us. They're saying this is an extension of the TV show. This is not what everyone thought. It was a TV show it's going to be elevated to a cinematic scale. What they're saying is, no, guys, this is 3 seasons in a movie. And it's an extension of the show on the big screen. And I don't think they actually think this is going to be $1 billion or $750 million movie. I think they understand this is going to be in the $300 to $400 million if they're lucky.
You know what else too, John? I don't know why they call this movie The Mandalorian and Grogu. When you think back to titles like The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, even The Rise of Skywalker, why wouldn't they have called this something like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Give it a title that's cinematic. The Mandalorian and Grogu sounds like BJ and the Bear. I mean, I know it's exactly what it is, and it's based on The Mandalorian TV show, but they could have given it a cinematic name.
They're definitely going back to the 40s with this poster. That's an official poster.
Yeah.
What I would have done, Rob, to your point, I think the best of both worlds would have been Mandalorian : the hunt for something. Mandalorian, whatever, because it's the Mandalorian. It's the extension of the show. You can't not have Mandalorian in the title. But to your point, it should have been not the Mandalorian and Grogu. It should have been Mandalorian, the darkness of the whatever. Like, it should have had something like that attached to it. Yeah.
You know, I think back to the first the Star Wars novels when they did Lando Calrissian and they did Han Solo novels. And it was like Han Solo at Star's End, or Lando Calrissian and the Mind Harp of Sharu, which wasn't a great title, but I wanted to know what a Mind Harp of Sharu was, or Lando Calrissian and the Flame Wind of Ocean. You know, something that I'm like, wow, that sounds cool. I want to know what that is. It could, like you said, it could have been the Mandalorian, blah, blah, blah. And that would have been, and they could have done the Mandalorian in the logo, you know, like the Empire Strikes Back logo that had the title, but it was surrounded by the Star Wars logo. Right. And that would have got me excited.
Speaking of the title and the logo, I already can tell you how this movie is going to start. They're going to bring back the opening crawl, and you hear, you know, dun, 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 and the opening crawl starts, and the first words of it, somehow the Razor Crest has returned.
Yes.
And,
that's right. That was in the shot. You know,
a couple of the shots.
Yeah, I don't know why that didn't like really stand out to me, but I mean, what is giving me pause though is I kind of think we all felt this was going to push the narrative further into how the First Order is created, and I'm really starting to think this is just more the misadventures of Mandalorian and Grogu.
Like, does this take place during season 1?
Yeah.
No, this should take place after the events of season 3.
Yeah, it should, unless that's because I feel like
oh my God, Rob! Listen, if they prequel this shit, if this happens now in between seasons 1 and 2, I'm out.
Or 2 and 3,
like,
or whenever he lost his ship.
No, this takes place before the events or whatever. I'm just gonna be like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, you could have had like giant troop Mandalorian, a swarm of Mandalorians flying in, and they didn't give us any big. There's not one big shot. We got literally an AT-AT falling off a cliff. I would have asked you why.
I'm going to stand by that. I still like that shot. I do. I still like that shot. I thought that shot was pretty good.
I just am thinking, why are you guys so stupid to be on a small mountain pass? You think that was really smart?
Yeah, you know what it is? Here's the thing. And I thought this when I was watching it. Why does the Empire in everything love narrow walkways with no handrails? Everything, you go back to the original Star Wars. Hey, where's the control panel for the tractor beam stuff? Oh, skimmy along this tiny little ledge around to the other side of this big pit with absolutely no safety rails, and there's a big handle there.
Listen,
if you're putting controls there with handles, why is it such? Just do it. Or in like the sequel trilogy, that like Han and his son on this long, super narrow bridge with absolutely no handrail. What is it about the Empire that loves, hey, how do we get from here to there?
No OSHA requirements.
Find the narrowest walkway possible. Yes, why are they walking AT-ATs over that?
Well,
I have no idea.
They didn't want to go through the mines of Moria, clearly. So they went through the mountain pass.
Down in the deep.
Yeah. They know what's down there.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu? I gotta say, I'm not impressed yet, and I want to love this thing. I really do, and I'm not going to lose faith in it. I'm not going to lose faith in it in general. It's still Jon Favreau, and I love the first 2 seasons, but right now it just feels cheap and small and just like another episode of a TV show. But anyway, hopefully it can really emerge and be something great. Whatever you guys thought about the trailer, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that all down, we are going to now move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take a second here and do a couple things. One, we're going to say good afternoon and good day to the great Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, sir. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Whatever I was going to say. Thank you, sir.
And we are also going to take a second to thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at BetterHelp. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. You know, it's kind of funny where we sometimes go looking for advice. I've caught myself asking the manager at the gym about work-life balance stuff, or venting to a stranger in line at the movies. And listen, those conversations can be fun, but let's be honest, not everyone is the right one to help with the big things like anxiety, stress, or relationships. See, that's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp has been around for over 10 years and has helped more than 5 million people. They've got over 30,000 licensed therapists, all fully credentialed and working under a strict code of conduct. And this is the really cool part. They do the matching work for you. You fill out a short questionnaire about what you're looking for, and their system finds somebody who fits your specific needs. And listen, if that first match doesn't feel right, you can switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. It's all online, super flexible, so whether you're on the go or at home, you can connect at the click of a button. That means you can actually fit therapy into your real life. So listen, don't just lean on your group chat or your barber for advice. Find your right match with BetterHelp. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Find the one with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at BetterHelp for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get on to your questions here, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
Henry Jones Jr. is here. Hey, John, what are your thoughts on the Muppet Show revival special coming next year? As a nostalgic fan, I'm pumped. Do you think the vaudevillian variety show format will work with today's celebrities and modern sense of humor?
Okay, so two different thoughts. One is I can't wait to try it. I can't wait to watch it. I mean, I love the Muppets. I grew up loving the Muppets. I would love to see this and I want to watch it. But the second thought is right along with what you just said. I don't know if it would work today. And I just don't know that the Muppets and the format of the Muppet Show and all that kind of stuff, I don't know if it'll go over well today. I don't know if the variety show aspect of it will work. So I'm damn excited about checking it out. And I'm hopeful, but I got to admit, I have my worries that it's not going to be something that works, but we'll see. All right, what's next?
John Harris, if Sony gets WB and DC, the Spider-Man rights go back to Marvel, right? No.
No.
I don't think there's anything that said if you ever buy another studio.
No. But see, you've got a little bit reversed here. If Warner Brothers bought Sony, rights would revert.
Yes.
But Sony's still Sony. It doesn't matter if they buy a golf ball company or another studio. It doesn't matter. Sony's still Sony. Now, if somebody else bought Sony, well, that would probably trigger something in deals. But if Sony bought Warner Brothers, doesn't do anything. They're still Sony. They're still the same entity that signed the deals. I mean, listen, it all depends on the particulars of the contract because you can put anything into a contract that you want. I'm just saying, generally speaking, if Sony buys something else, that shouldn't affect it at all. All right, what's next?
We got Anonymous regarding Tatiana's statement. Maybe one of the reasons many movies are being made abroad is because the situation you stated with the country being unstable. Could you see media companies moving abroad? I don't think the corporations would.
Yeah, hard to say. But yeah, I could probably see some. It's not just entertainment companies. It's companies like John Deere and other companies I can see just wanting to uproot and leave. But I mean, listen, everything in life is cyclical, right? Like certain things happen and then then the wind changes and it goes to something else and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, one of the big things that I'll talk about, John Oliver was just talking about this. You know, John Oliver is not in trouble because the FCC doesn't control what happens to him. He's on a streaming service, which isn't governed by the FCC. But in general, yeah, we could see things get worse before they get better. All right, what's next?
Yikes, says John. When someone asks you if you've seen a smaller movie, I often hear you say it didn't make much money. Why does that matter? I don't hang out with my friends because they're rich or popular. I hang out with them because they're unique and interesting. Because in the movie business, people often ask me, you know, to this point, like, why do you care about box office? Because it's not your money. It's because if you think box office is just
money, then you're missing the point. It's what that money represents. A movie's opening weekend, for example, it doesn't tell you how much money it made. I mean, sure, it does, but that's just one piece of information it gives you. It tells us, did the marketing of this movie work? Did people get excited for this movie? Was the nature of this movie something that motivated audiences to want to get up and go out and see it? And these are all very important issues for us as fans and in talking about movies and stuff like that. So quite often when I talk about a movie not making much money, well, what we're really saying is not many people went to go see it. And that has a lot of implications. It like drastically impacts about whether or not we might see more, whether or not it could have a longer theatrical life. It also tells us in general about, did many movie audiences see it at all? Because if nobody saw it, like, for example, I can't make a topic on our show about something that none of our audience saw. Anyway, that's just a little bit hyperbole. But the basic underlying message here is this, that the amount of money that a movie makes is not just about dollars. It tells a story about the themes of the movie, who was in the movie, how that movie was marketed, what kind of movie it is, the potential for franchising of it, that or not. Does it give us warning signs about other similar looking movies that are coming down the pipe? Because money tells us every dollar is a person. People who made the choice to buy a ticket and go see that movie. And ultimately, that's the movie business. The movie business is, does your movie attract people to want to come and see it? Did they enjoy it? Did they tell other people to go see it? And that is radically relevant to all of our movie discussions. So that's why it often comes up. It's not because of money, it's because of what the money represents. Anyway, all right, what's next?
Okay, we got Joshua, who says, "Hi, John. I'm curious, what's your favorite war movie? To me, it's a toss-up between Fury and Hacksaw Ridge."
I love Hacksaw Ridge, man. That is a great movie. Andrew Garfield. Love that one. I mean, Saving Private Ryan has to be right up there too. You know, I think I've got one that I like even more, but I'm not remembering. So for now, I'll go with Saving Private Ryan, but Hacksaw Ridge is one of my favorites. It's right up there too as far as great wartime movies. All right, what's next?
Scooby Drool. Hi, John, on Wonderful Crew. Since the Alien franchise is popular again, revived by Alien Romulus and Alien Earth, do you see the Starship Troopers franchise getting revival with a remake, sequel, requel, etc.?
What does one have to do with the other?
Aliens.
What does Alien have to do with Starship Troopers? Anyway, listen, Starship Troopers is a real special guilty pleasure of mine. It really, I talked about it on the show a while ago. I just rewatched it a few months ago.
Oh, really?
I don't know why. Like, Ann and I were up late one night, and she fell asleep on the couch, and I'm like, oh, I should probably go to bed. And then I saw that Starship Troopers was on. I'm going to sit back and watch this for a bit. And I watched the whole thing till like 3 a.m. or whatever. And I'm like, this movie is so stupid fun. It's such a great thing.
Yeah. And it was an interesting
What were you gonna
period.
say?
It was an interesting period even for like Neil Patrick Harris, because he wasn't on How I Met Your Mother yet. And he kind of disappeared after Doogie Howser. And then he's in just this like sort of semi raunchy, like spoofy alien movie. It was really, really a crazy like comeback for him.
Rico, you know what to do. But can I see that making a comeback? No. Now, there was reports of them maybe trying to do a reboot of it, but Starship Troopers, the movie, is very dissimilar to the Starship Troopers, I believe, the book that it's based on, which is far more political and far more dystopian and all that kind of stuff. And I heard that they were looking at making another one, but it's not a remake of the movie. It's meant to be a more accurate translation of the book. Now, whether that happens and what that could turn into, but the Starship Troopers we know and love, can I see that making a revival? Honestly, no, I don't, but I love that movie. All right, what's next?
Angel, two-parter. Attending a screening of Psycho last night. I was looking forward to sitting in an empty theater, only to find myself with 100 people all cheering for some good-looking bozo in glasses and a massive popcorn. Weird. Luckily, I had my Nikon to document this madness. Jokes all aside, what an amazing night meeting this beautiful community of film lovers. As a single dad, I don't get to go to the theater as much now, but your show keeps me tethered to the world. I'm grateful. Safe travels to you and Anne.
Yeah, we did. Obviously, last night we were in Portland for an unfortunate screening of him, but the night before that, or 2 nights before that, we were in San Francisco and did the screening of Psycho, and it was my first time ever seeing Psycho on the big screen, and it's just a different experience, man, watching it on the big screen, and it's such a fun movie to watch. But also, the turnout was amazing. We sold the theater out. The meetup afterwards was absolutely fantastic, and I just had such a great time. And tonight is the last one. We did, if I go back to this here, let me see if I can bring this up again. We had, we did. Obviously, we did Phoenix and San Diego. This has been our first big stretch of doing. We did Phoenix and San Diego, then we did Albuquerque, Denver, Salt Lake City, and Las Vegas. And then this week has been San Francisco, Portland, and tonight we're in Seattle. And this will end this first kind of stretch of our movie meetups. And then the next ones will come in October, and we'll announce dates and places for that. But it's been absolutely awesome so far.
Now you got the long road back.
And now after Seattle, the 4-day drive back. I don't know. We'll see how long it takes me to get back. All right. What's next?
All right, Chef Ian. Hope you had a great time in Portland. It was my 10-year anniversary. For some reason, my wife didn't want to watch him. Here's a question. Would you rather have Ryan Reynolds' past filmography or gamble and take his future, one or the other?
I'll take his past filmography. I don't want to gamble on what the future is, because if I look at his past filmography, then I get Definitely Maybe, which is awesome. I get Buried, which is awesome. I think it's his most underappreciated.
Too claustrophobic.
Okay, well, yeah, if you're claustrophobic, you can't watch Buried. But Buried is also the best performance. I think he should have been nominated for an Academy Award for that. You'll get like Safe House that he did with Denzel. You'll get his Deadpool movies. I mean, so I know what I'm getting if I take his past filmography. Now, I still think Ryan Reynolds has a brilliant future, but that's rolling the dice. I know I love. Oh, and by the way, I almost forgot Just Friends. I think one of the most underrated comedies ever is Just Friends. I love that movie. So if I had to bet, I would take his previous filmography, because you never know what the future holds.
It's hard to go wrong.
All right, what's next?
Nico, so the good news, I was able to come out to Dublin for the movie meetup on Friday. The bad news, my girlfriend had a medical emergency in the middle of the movie.
Oh, no.
The rest of the night in the ER. She's doing fine now. See you next time, I hope. Well, I'm glad everything is better, obviously.
I did not know this. I'm so sorry to hear that. Like, it sounds like it would be like an allergic reaction to something.
I was wondering
Yeah, I wonder if it was an allergic reaction. Anyway, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm glad it sounds like she's doing well. And like, yeah, man, that's awful to hear. But I'm glad you guys were able to come for at least a bit of it. But oh my God, that's horrible, man. That's terrible. Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Kylo Kent says, hiya, Campea crew. What do you think of the online speculation that Ryan Gosling is playing an adaptation of Cade Skywalker from the old Dark Horse comic Star Wars Legacy line?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That's a lot to explain.
Listen, Sean Levy has been pretty clear on this. This is new. This is all going to be new. And by new stuff, now you say, well, he's never been done on the screen. That's true. But by new, I think he's including going back and recycling stuff from the old non-canon novels and stuff like that. So listen, is it impossible? Not impossible. It's not impossible at all. But if you're asking me, what do I think about it? My thought is, no, I don't see him doing that at all. It is a possibility, but as a fan speculating, I think Sean Levy is absolutely giving us what he said he was giving us, which is something totally brand new. So I don't think that speculation is going to be accurate, but we'll find out. All right, what's next?
We got Non Campea. Here's for the House of the Dragon, not here's for. I don't know why I said here's for. There's news of House of the Dragon Season 3 that Benjamin Ainsworth, who is also cast as Link in the new Zelda movie, will play Alicent's young son, Daron. I'm equally excited for both roles for him.
Listen, I love House of the Dragon, man. I think its first couple of seasons are better than the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones. I'm not going to say that I think House of the Dragon overall is better than overall Game of Thrones, but I'm just saying I think the first season of House of the Dragon was better than the first season of Game of Thrones. And I think the second season rivals the second season of Game of Thrones. I think it's been fantastic. I love this show. And oh boy, you know, if you know the story, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of liberties they take, because this can go in a very, very, very dark direction. This series can go in a very dark direction. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Matthew Grant says, I've been watching Adolescence on Netflix, and OMG, the acting, even on the long takes on the actors, even when they are not saying anything, this show should be in acting schools.
Well, and there's a reason. I mean, he just won Best Actor in a limited series. He beat out Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people thought because Colin Farrell's won a number of awards this award season for playing Penguin. And a lot of people thought he might be getting the best lead in a thing, but it went to him instead. And, you know, good on him. That was great. All right. What's next?
I didn't realize Stephen Graham, who acted in it, was the creator.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, I remember him going back to Snatch, you know, and man.
Oh, love that.
Yep. Mike Ruscetta with just one part. I love the look of Mando trailer. I don't care if it's 2 or 3 episodes of a show. The way Favreau shot the Crate Dragon fight in the season 2 opener made me want to see this on the big screen. I'm eagerly awaiting this fun space adventure, and I think that's who this is going to be appealing to. You know,
yeah.
People who want more of the
listen,
show on the big screen.
If John Favreau can deliver the best parts of what made season 1 and season 2 great, we could be in for a very satisfying time in the movie theaters. Mm-hmm. And again, that's why I'm not going to count it out. Like, listen, I said it straight up. I don't think this is a good trailer. This trailer did not do anything for me to move the needle. If anything, it just kind of reemphasized my fears about it, that it's just going to feel like a cheap, you know, couple of episodes of a TV show, except it's in a movie format. I don't think this is the right way to bring Star Wars back to the big screen after 7 years being away from it. Mm-hmm. But it's still John Favreau, man. And the first couple of seasons of Mandalorian were great. And if John Favreau can recapture the things that made that great and bring it to the movie screen, at worst, we could just end up with a really satisfying time in the movie theaters. Yeah. So here's hoping. I'm going to keep hope alive. I am pessimistic, but I'm going to keep hope alive because, again, it's John Favreau.
Well, all right. And Anonymous kind of like expands on this. Watching the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer brought a smile to my face. I really miss these two. I'm happy to see them back. Crazy, it's been over 2 years since I last saw them, but I don't want a movie. I just want to do season 4. They're not movie characters.
I mean, if you do it right, they can be movie characters, but this trailer didn't feel like they were movie characters. Listen, I'm absolutely in the same boat as you. I think it would have been a much better decision to make Mandalorian season 4. And by the way, they have not counted out the possibility that we could very well get a Mandalorian season 4 still, which only makes the decision to make this one a movie even more confusing. But again, like you just said, seeing Baby Yoda on screen does put a smile on my face. I mean, that little thing is adorable. And I love the Mando character. And I thought the AT-AT shot looked pretty good. I'm pessimistic, but I'm going to stay hopeful.
Yeah. Well, let's face it. Pedro needed work. He's really not.
I mean, he's just got nothing but free time right now.
I feel bad for him. He was in a slump for a while there. Amin with a 2-parter, another TIFF review for Roofman. Crazy concept, even for a true story, which it is. But it's a heartfelt and surprisingly emotional comedy. Channing Tatum delivers a brilliant performance, showcasing his vulnerability while also nailing the comedic timing. Kirsten Dunst is great alongside him, and their chemistry is palpable. Supporting cast, Dinklage, Mendelsohn also. Oh, I didn't know Ben Mendelsohn was in this. Shine. Yep. It's a funny, touching, and unexpectedly moving film. Make sure to check it out. It is 100% on my movie to watch list.
Yeah, I thought when they gave us a presentation for it at CinemaCon, I thought, well, this looks like it could be interesting. I have spoken to a few people that have seen it, and they love it. They really love it. And you know me, I once thought, and I stand by it, I once thought many years ago that Channing Tatum was the single worst actor in Hollywood who was getting consistent work. Out of all the movie stars in Hollywood who were getting consistent work, I thought Channing Tatum was the worst. But he did exactly what you should do. He worked.
Hard. Yeah.
And he worked hard.
Yeah.
And he took on some of the best coaches in the business, and he worked and he worked and he worked. And he gradually got to a point where I was like, oh, he's pretty good now. And now we've been at the point the last bunch of years where I'm like, when Channing Tatum is in something, I get excited to see him. And, that's just he's a great example. I mean, he's the reason why I kept, even though I knew Gal Gadot was a terrible actress, I kept holding out hope that she could become good, because look what happened to Channing Tatum. Of course, that never happened with her, but I mean, I think Channing is a great success story, and I can't wait to see him in Avengers.
Yeah. Logan Lucky was a turning point for me.
Oh, I loved him in Logan Lucky.
Yeah, that was a turning point for me. The Borb, hey John, it was an honor sitting next to you for Psycho on Friday. I didn't get a chance to see or to listen to your Friday show before the meetup. After hearing it, I understand why you were shaken up. We love you, John. Do what you got to do to be safe. Wait, what happened
thank
Friday?
You so much.
What did I?
It was the totally expected, thing when we talked about the Jimmy Kimmel situation.
Oh,
and the amount of, seriously, I got overwhelmed at that screening, because that screening of Psycho in San Francisco was the show, was the event right after we did that show where we talked about the Jimmy Kimmel situation, and the amount of support that I got from everybody there, and the love and seriously, the insane amount of support I've gotten online from people has been really overwhelming, because, I got the fully expected reactions from people that I really don't care about. But to get that support and that love from our viewers, especially there at the event, was really special and really great. So thank you for sharing that, man. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. For a second, I got worried. I thought maybe there was some road trouble, and I was like, oh no, what happened? Yeah, but
no, all good.
Jake Galwell, John, we all know Ray is away ghostwriting the new Blade script. Do you have any stories about any ghostwriters you have encountered? Well, The Long Walk was technically a book by a ghostwriter, but it was it Bachman or what was Stephen King's?
That was written under a pseudonym.
Pseudonym, not a ghostwriter. Yeah,
not a ghostwriter. So for those of you who don't know, a ghostwriter, and it's weird that this is a totally normal thing because it feels very dishonest, but it's a totally normal thing. A ghostwriter is somebody who actually writes something, but somebody else gets the credit for it. So, and it happens a lot with autobiographies. Somebody may want to write an autobiography, but they're not a writer. So what they do is they get all the stuff they want to be in it, and then they hand it over to somebody else and they write it. And it's called a ghostwriter. And that has happened in Hollywood too, where somebody is the credited writer, but they actually hired somebody else on the down low to do the writing. And those people are called ghostwriters. And it's actually a full industry. I mean, there are people who make careers out of being ghostwriters.
Even novels, because I know some Tom Clancy novels are ghostwritten.
Yep. Happens with novels, happens all that kind of stuff. And it's a legitimate thing, and it happens, although it feels weird. I know specifically of a couple of, let's call them higher profile projects, where the credited writer is not the person that wrote it. I will not share what those are for obvious reasons, but so I can't tell any stories, but I do know of a couple of higher profile projects that the person who got credit for writing it was actually written by a ghostwriter. But I obviously I can't say what those are. All right, what's next?
Seth. Hey John, it's Seth. You met me at my and my mom last night. You made my day, and I wanted to say thank you for it. Wanted to ask two things. Is him the worst movie of the year for you? I think we covered that. And was the ending of him just all in his head? I kind of lost track.
I think it is. I'll have to sit back and go over the list of all the films that have come out this year. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's the worst film of the year. It was just terrible. And again, highlighting the tragedy, because Marlon Wayans' performance, it was a revelation. Now I can't wait to see him in more stuff. But The movie itself was terrible. I don't think the ending was in his head. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I don't think the movie ever hinted that it was in his head. But you never know. Maybe the director would come out and say it was. All right. What's next?
We got Dan V. There was simply no magic with the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. It didn't feel cinematic where it didn't make me excited. It just looked like a higher budget TV show. I just think of the CG Old Republic trailers made by Blur that exemplify Star Wars. This doesn't.
Yeah, I don't even know that it felt like higher budget television, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't. Again, the shot of the AT-AT was a pretty interesting shot. I did like that shot and all that stuff, but first trailers are very unique. They're not meant to give you much, but they're meant to give you a feel. They're just meant to give you a feel. And I didn't like the feel it gave. And listen, I always say on the show that the number one job of a trailer is to take your excitement level, no matter how high it is or how low it is, and bump it up a little bit. This trailer didn't do that for me. Now, I think it did for some other people, and if it did, that's great. I think that's awesome. But I can only speak for myself. For me, it didn't do that, so we'll see how it works out.
All right.
All right, what's next?
We've got our final tip here. It's from Bry Guy, who says, do a plot similar to Marvel's Thunderbolts, but with the classic Disney villains, from director Shane Black, co-script by Megan Amron, Craig Mazin, and John August. New music by Alan Menken, co-written and performed by Ed Sheeran. Your thoughts? I mean, I feel like Disney did do something like that in video game form, where the villains like teamed up, but like they became the protagonists. It wouldn't be the first time, I feel.
There's a kids thing that Disney does where it's about all the children of the iconic Disney villains. And I'm trying to remember what that was called. I'm sure somebody in the live chat knows. Descendants. That's what it is.
It's on
Spidey
Disney,
83 was the first one to come out, like Descendants. Yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't usually interest me, to be honest with you. Like, it might have an audience for other people, but it's not really something that interests me. But, that's okay. And all right, guys, that will do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much to all you guys for being here, making our show part of your day. It is an incredible honor that you guys would take your time and spend it with us here as we talk about the things that excite us and that we love, movies and movie news and TV streaming. Thank you guys so much for being here and celebrating the things that we love. A big special thank you to all you guys who sent in questions, number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Big thanks, of course, to Robert Meyer Burnett for being here, our technical director, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys tomorrow.
My name's John Campea, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.